a nightingale, that all day long had cheered the village with his song, nor yet at eve his notes suspended, nor yet when eventide was ended, began to feel, as well he might, the keen demands of appetite. When looking eagerly around, he spied, far off, upon the ground, a something shining in the dark, and knew the glowworm by his spark. So, stooping down from hawthorn top, he thought to put him in his crop. The worm, aware of his intent, harangued him thus right eloquent. "Did you admire my lamp?" quoth he. "As much as I your minstrelsy, you would abhor to do me wrong, as much as I to spoil your song. For 'twas the selfsame power divine taught you to sing, and me to shine, that you with music, I with light, might beautify and cheer." The night songster heard his short oration, and warbling out his approbation, released him, as my story tells, and found a supper somewhere else. Summary. The poem tells a short but meaningful story. A nightingale sings all day and into the evening, bringing joy to a village. As night falls, he becomes hungry and spots a glowworm shining in the dark. Intending to eat the worm, he swoops down. However, the clever glowworm pleads with him not to do so, explaining that just as the nightingale is gifted with song, the glowworm is blessed with light boats meant to bring beauty to the night. Convinced and touched by the glowworm's wise words, the nightingale lets him go and finds his meal elsewhere. Central idea. The central idea of the poem is the celebration of diverse talents and the value of all living beings. It emphasizes coexistence, mutual respect, and the divine origin of every creature's gift, whether it is song or light. Analysis. Cooper uses a simple narrative to deliver a deep moral lesson. The nightingale represents beauty through music, while the symbolizes beauty through light. Both are creations of the same divine power, meant to serve a purpose. The poem teaches that we should not harm others simply for our benefit, especially when they too contribute positively to the world. This fable-like structure with talking animals is typical of didactic poetry, meant to instruct and uplift readers. Literary devices, personification, both the nightingale and the glowworm are given. Human traits such as speech and reasoning. The worm, aware of his intent, harangued him thus right eloquent. Imagery, vivid images of evening, singing birds, and glowing worms, enhance the reader's experience. At something shining in the dark alliteration, keen demands of appetite, and songster heard his short oration rhyme scheme. The poem follows a consistent rhyming couplet scheme, A, B, B, C, C, closing parenthesis, giving it rhythm and musicality. Symbolism: the nightingale and the glowworm symbolize different forms of art, music, and light, standing for all unique talents in the world. Fable structure. The poem resembles a fable with a moral lesson, much like Aesop's tales. Tone. The tone of the poem is gentle, reflective, and moralistic. Cooper writes with admiration for both the natural world and the divine intelligence behind it. The glowworm's speech is earnest and wise, and the nightingale's response is thoughtful and kind. Themes: respect for all creatures. Every being has a purpose, and we should recognize and respect their unique contributions. Unity in diversity. The poem highlights that different talents like singing and glowing are equally valuable and come from the same divine source. Peace and nonviolence. Conflicts can be resolved through dialogue and understanding, not aggression. Moral reasoning. The glowworm appeals not to fear but to ethics and mutual admiration, showing the power of reason over instinct.